What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Afterburner. He's Mikey. I'm Jordan from the In the Dome podcast. A couple of hosers over here take off. Yasmin's doing the production tonight. Can't see her, but she's there. Breaking down the game against the Montreal Habs, and a bit of a barn burner, eh? I had the heart rate going up there when the net was empty. Dustin Wolf pulls off the shutout, breaks another record, another week. Another Dustin Wolf record seems to be the story of the season.
What is this record? He's the first Flames rookie goaltender to record 3 shutouts in a season.
Yep.
Dude, that's wild. That's crazy.
Epic, hey?
See, tonight to me is a perfect example of, Lane Hudson played really well, but tonight's a perfect example of, that's why he's the call. Celebrini, great. Hudson, great. Michkov, great. The Flames are in the playoffs. The Flames are the lowest scoring 5-on-5 team in the entire league. But guess what? We're the third best in terms of 5-on-5 goals against. Why is that? You saw it tonight. It's the Dustin Wolf show. That's all that it is, man. It's crazy.
The Dustin Wolf show. He does it again. Did you see this quote to start the game off? I don't think we need to do the full quote, but essentially he begins it with, "We're going to get in to the playoffs." And then he backs that up with a goddamn shutout.
Bro.
With a goddamn new weekly record. First goalie in franchise history to record 3 shutouts as a rookie.
That's like Mark Messier level shit right there. That's Mark Messier guarantees we will. Is it Game 6 the Rangers had to win that year in like the 90s? He was like, we're going to win Game 6. He has just scored a hat trick. Game 6 guarantee win, scores a hat trick. Dustin Wolf, make him the captain. That's aura. That's crazy. We're going to make the playoffs.
We're going to get in.
We're going to get in. Shutout.
It's funny because, look, it's been a talking point all season long. The season has a little bit for everybody. Team tank, team playoffs, team whatever. I pulled the fan base. We'll get into a little bit of a trade deadline coverage near the end of the show. But if you're a fan and you're following this team, what an emotional year, right? You sell off all your assets last year. The rebuild looks like it's full on. You come out with an absolute haul. You nailed the draft. The prospect pool is now one of the tops in the league. The future is exciting. Yet, hold on. From day one, this general manager and coach and the vets on this team has said, no, we're going to try and make the playoffs. That's the goal this season. So they've been battling with Flames fans all season long. In terms of, there's a lot of fans out there who want to see this team lose. They want to see this team tank. They want to see this team get more draft picks, and I fully understand it. I understand both sides of the argument, but they just keep hanging in there, and basically all on the backs of Dustin Wolf. You see it again tonight. When he comes out and makes that quote, as a fan before the game, I'm just like, holy shit. After seeing him in the first period, you can't help but start to believe that this team can make the playoffs. And I know it's a whole nother argument and conversation. If they get into the playoffs, is it just a waste of 8 days, as Daryl Sutter would say? But man, this kid has, like you said, he's got aura. He's legit. He is elite.
Yeah, it's crazy. What were the scoring chances in the third period? Like 6-1 Montreal. And in the second period, they were underwater the entire third period, and he's just solid as a what? It's just you run out of, because I've been expecting all year, and we kind of maybe saw it.
Solid as Bradshaw living dump after his friggin' 5th Hawaiian pizza in 3 days.
Solid as the clogged pipes in the Saddle Dome off the store, because Brad just crushed 24 pieces of pineapple on trade deadline day, and then freaking
it's funny. You see like Friedman, he's got like 3 hours of sleep. They got like a little video of him of just milling around the studio at all hours, just on his 12th fucking cup of coffee. You compare that to Bradshaw living. He's too busy. He's in a pizza coma. He just coming at the tail end of trade deadline as usual. It's funny how Leafs fans are all starting to experience what we had to go through.
Hey, he almost got it. He came in second on a couple deals before he made his deals. He just about got ranting and bro.
He was in it until the end.
Yeah, right there until the end.
He was the runner-up yet again.
But again, we've kind of, at least I have personally been I've been saying this week to week. It's like, when is the wheels going to fall off? Because like Wolves just keep you in all these games, and really you can break it down any way you want. Yes, there's like a few elements of, this team does work really hard. You know what? Some of the coaching decisions really bother me and make me wonder what their goal is behind the bench. But at the same time, they have this team working hard. There's some veterans have played. Kadri's showed up at big moments this year. Huberdeau's been okay. Coronato scored some goals. Zary's played. Like, there's some other elements too, right? But when you just boil it down to it's 99% Dustin Wolf. And you kind of saw this kind of getting off the rails a little bit heading into that road trip. And it was kind of like, okay, as soon as Wolf starts looking like normal and not superhuman, this is going to go down fast. And then he just comes out and plays the game he played tonight. It's just like, wow, it's crazy. Where is this kid going to take us? That was like, I was watching tonight. It was funny because I think most people saw, do you see this? Andrew Ferentz posted a bunch of like, down photos.
04 run.
Oh, it was great, dude. It was like
throwbacks.
It was crazy. Just, I'd never seen those before. It was such a throwback, and what a great time that was. But tonight, dude, Daryl was watching tonight from wherever he up at the farm tonight, just being like, that's a perfect win right there, boys. Little 1-0 that's Mika Kiprusoff shutout style right there. That's a 2004 win. That was crazy.
Yeah, there's no as a team, they've exceeded expectations all season long. To your point, no individual outside of Dustin Wolf, maybe Coronato, has really exceeded individual expectations. But they're still finding a way to get it done. So kudos to the group as a whole. This episode is brought to you by Bet365, the world's largest sports betting platform. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Download the app today. Use the code NATION when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with Bet365. Proceeds from Super Chat, Afterburner Super Chat, go to Youth Centers of Calgary, place where kids are welcome and accepted as they are, place where they get a break from the chronic stress that is the reality of many of their lives, and they can flourish through connection and fun. So if you want to get your comment or question on the show, throw a little donation in there. Your proceeds are going to a real good, solid cause. You saw it against Dallas. The Huska decides to start Vladar over Wolf, even though earlier in the road trip he was quoted saying that, hey, if we have to ride, we're trying to win every game. If we got to ride Dustin Wolf, we're going to ride Dustin Wolf. He's finally got the memo. I get it. You want to balance out the workload, especially on a gauntlet of a road trip that was. But Vladar starts in Dallas and he has those 2 weak goals. There was that flurry in was it second period? Or early third period or late second period by Montreal. I think it was late second period. I think
it was right. Yeah, last minute of the second period, the back of the line got pinned in there. He just made 3 or 4 unbelievable saves.
Just shut the door, and you can't help but think, man, if Vladar was in net, I don't know if it's necessarily a.
I don't think you can't help but think that it would be like absolutely for sure. Well, I mean, that's the thing with Wolf too, and that's right. Like that, I'm not saying anything groundbreaking here, but through history, the best goaltenders are the ones who are the most clutch, right? Yep. It's not even really about stopping all of them, right? The fact he gets a shutout is crazy tonight, but the timing of a lot of those saves is just like end of the second period. You're just it's like those saves.
Yeah, when the other team's cranking it up and turning it on, making a hell of a push, he's there to answer the bell
every time.
We're going to be making a road trip to Calgary to see the Dallas Stars game. I just sure as shit hope Dustin Wolf will be starting in that game.
Oh yeah, ride him, man. You have to at this point. You got he should play all 3 games this week. I know we'll get to the road ahead later, but he should play against both. He's got to play against Vancouver, and I'd play him against Colorado too.
The Flames finish off that gauntlet of a road trip in typical Flames fashion. They finished 2-2-2, a 500 to a T road trip. But if you look at the strength of competition, I think you can be happy with that if you're on the team of wanting to make the playoffs. And they just keep themselves afloat in that wild card race. And does Vancouver play tonight? No, they don't, right?
No, St. Louis is playing right now. Last I checked, they were losing.
So they'll most likely end the night. Yeah, they will. They'll end the night in the playoff spot.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to the road ahead, but we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah.
Montreal's in town tonight. both teams in a playoff race. It's kind of neat. Obviously, there's probably the Montreal fans, you could hear them on the broadcast. They're always come out in droves and in numbers. Now, maybe not as annoying as the Leafs fans, maybe because they mostly speak French. But
I feel like Habs fans are like crazy, but still cool. Like,
yeah,
it definitely doesn't bother me as much when all the people from Ontario are in the stands and I'm just losing my. Or obviously when all the disgusting grease balls from Edmonton show up. So it's Montreal is usually pretty cool. So
that's what being the most winningest franchise in history does.
You've earned our respect, bro.
And you turn into be a humble fan. I think
exactly.
Right, you gotta appreciate it.
Exactly.
So yeah, it turned out to be a bit of a goaltending battle. The Montreal goaltender was great, especially in the first period. But I don't know. I want to say maybe no one really expected a 1-0 win, but the way this team's been playing all season is actually not too surprising.
He was really good. The Flames came out, like, to their credit, after a long, hard road trip, they came out pretty strong. I don't think they practiced yesterday or today, so they were coming right into it. And they had a hell of a first period, but it was very Flamesy, right? You can't score. You can't be like Dobish was amazing, but it's kind of like, how many games has he played? He's been really good this year for how many games he's played, but you kind of got the feeling this was going to be one of those, the Flames are playing a guy who's playing like is a rookie goaltender who's like just come onto the scene and he's going to absolutely goalie them. It kind of felt like that early on. They had so many chances. Sharangovich, I don't know how he didn't bury on that. He had a chance right in close. He had two whacks at it.
Frost was just had a couple feeding him.
Frost was all over the place. Really impressive first period, but couldn't bury it. So I thought Frost was the best player on the ice in the first period. He was great.
Yeah, no, I've been really liking his game. He brings, he's dynamic, creative, crafty. He's got that nifty footwork. He's doing the cross ice passes on the PP. He's brought a lot of value to that power play. It's really elevated the power play for sure. Seems like every time he touches the puck, he kind of is a chance to create something.
And like all three zones, I don't really get why Philly wanted to, deal him, because he's impactful in all three zones. He's good in his own zone. He's great in transition. One of the few guys on the team who can carry the puck. And like you said, making tons of plays on the offensive side. So I liked his game tonight.
Bit of a storyline throughout the game was utilization of Zary and Coronato kind of flipping back and forth between the top line and fourth line. Coming into the game, it was Kadri, Huberdeau, and Coronato in top line. Farabee with backline Coleman, which has seemed to be paying dividends in the last 3 games. I thought Farabee's game is really starting to come around. I think he was your best player tonight outside of Dustin Wolf.
Oh, he was great.
Sharangovich with Frost and Pospisil, and then Lomberg with Rooney and Zary. It's a bit of a head scratcher seeing Zary on the fourth line. I think Huska's trying to rationalize it by just trying to ease him back into maybe game shape, game pace. But I mean, he scores those 2 goals the other night. And you're just like, dude, it's Zary. Like he's until his injury, was he not your most dynamic? And
he's out there dangling guys. You can need a goal, right? It's 0-0. You're the lowest scoring team in the league. You need a goal. Like it just seems. It seems like a bald head scratcher to put your most dynamic, probably one of your most, if not the most dynamic offensive player, kind of stick him with Rooney and Lomberg. I know it's kind of frustrating. I don't really like that. And then he was kind of cycling him and Coronato from top line to fourth line. I don't know. He finished the game on a line with Frost and Pospisil, I think, or he played a few shifts. I'd like to see that continue. And then maybe you got to find somewhere for Sharangovich. I don't know what you do with this guy right now. I thought he had a pretty good game against Philly, had a really poor game against Dallas, had some touches tonight, but still not doing a whole lot. So I don't know what you do with him.
Don't know what you do with him.
Yeah.
We bring it up as a storyline because we have PTSD, obviously, from Bennett. And, we kind of saw this outhouse to penthouse rotation with Bennett for years. Ward was doing it. I think who else was doing it? So it wasn't just Ward.
Well, it was good when Gulletson was here. He was kind of doing a little bit. Bill Peters had him kind of all over the place. Wardo had him all over the place. It really was even until and then he was gone by then, so it didn't really even matter. It's like he played his best hockey when Bob Hartley was here. So
maybe it's not quite as much of a storyline, but because of that PTSD, we've seen it
it's just a tactic you've seen, right? You've seen these guys, and it kind of maybe we've kind of perceived it as it messes with your confidence if you're a young guy like Zary, right? Like,
well, and Coronato too. I mean, and you see with Bennett, it's just like, okay, maybe we're overreacting, but the last thing you want to see is another Bennett situation where the player ends up leaving and has success somewhere else, and then everybody's confused.
Well, and you do this thing, you get into this weird cycle where it's like, oh, he can't fit into like he was playing center before his injury. I still think he should be playing center. And again, maybe they're easing him back into that. You'd like to see him play with Coronato too, which is something I have wanted to see. They've never played together I don't think they've even played together for a game. But you don't want to be jerking that player around. And then maybe it appears though he's not having success when he's just not being put in a position to have success. And then it's like, oh, it's not working. We've tried. It's like that Simpsons meme. We've tried nothing, man. We've tried what is this? Flanders' parents is like, we've tried nothing, man. And it's not working. Like, you haven't tried anything. This is not working. So you just wouldn't want that to happen with a guy as skilled as Zary. Not that that's happening or going to happen, but when you see him just like fourth line for all over the place, it's just kind of like, hey, can we get this guy in a role in a place where he's going to succeed and where he knows it's confidence. He knows where he's playing. He knows his role. I think that's the key with, coaching in general, especially with young players.
Just what I've seen from the last few games, I would love to see a line of Frost, Coronato, and Zary together. Just the way that Frost was feeding Seravalli all night, you're sitting there like, man, what if he was feeding Coronato all night?
Yeah.
Coronato just is way stronger on the puck. He battles way harder than Seravalli does for that little extra inch. I think he's shown he's got a better shot this season at least. So man, he might be a dynamic duo or trio. Hopefully we get to see something like that in the future.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Like we said, first period was mostly all Flames. Zary had a great chance from that scoring chance from that sharp angle. We got a little clip of Zary doing this little dangle thing.
Yeah, he was doing this. That's what it was so funny. He was like dangling. It's like, well, he wasn't on the ice with Chadrick back. Because remember before his injury, he was doing this on a nightly basis. Just every single night he was doing something crazy or special with the puck, and you're like, holy shit, bro.
It's like on the Matrix, when you're like, hey, where's Neo? And he's like, oh, he's out there doing this flying thing. It's like, where's Zary? He's out there doing this dangling thing.
He's out there flipping pancakes, dangling. Yeah, he tried his little Kachuk between the legs move too. He went for that one. I don't think Old Huska liked that too much because
demoted after that.
I think he got demoted.
We'll have a clip of that when we cover the second. But dude, Buddy Felix, you would have scored that.
Oh, that would have been sick.
That would have been goal of the year.
Would have been crazy.
Seravalli was robbed in the first period. Let's throw this highlight up there too. This is the chance you were talking about.
Great play by Frost on this.
He was
9 times out of 10 that's going in. The first shot is usually going in. That second shot, that's just shit luck. And I know Igor, he's been a whipping boy this year. I mean, for good reason. He hasn't been very good, but when things aren't going your way. Last year, that's going in. This year, not so much. Sad Lego face.
Do you have any first period stats, scoring chances and whatnot? I mean, Calgary.
Well, the Flames were great. I think scoring chances were 8-1. But I think high danger is only 2-1. They had the puck the whole time. Like shot attempts were Calgary had 18-10, something like that. So
the shots were 7-1 at one point. Then they go on the power play. Coronato was close on that power play. Like I said, Frost just moving around. They did the back-to-back cross-ice passes. This is the most excited I've been about the power play in quite a while.
Oh, forever, dude. It's even Huberdeau, Frost brings an element we haven't seen since a commanding element that we haven't seen since Gaudreau, right? And he's the guy. He's making the plays. He's facilitating everything. So, he looks really good on the power play.
Okay, we'll get to the second period. Before we do, Derek Newman Group with CIR Realty, buying or selling. Let Derek do the work for you. Email at dnewman@cirrealty.ca or call 403-619-6666. Or visit dereknewmangroup.com. Complimentary in-house home staging consultation, accountable and available. Whether it's your first home purchase or you've bought and sold several, he will take the time to understand your own personal goals. On the selling side, pre-listing consultation will help you every step of the way with a comprehensive marketing plan, detailed analysis, or other comparable homes in the market. ability to find homes and off market and go the extra mile to help you hunt down options for buyers. If you're interested in buying and selling your home in the greater Calgary area, call Derek at 403-619-6661. He'll make it easy for you. Let Derek put his network to work for you.
I just saw Ken going on. He's going on a nice anti-Oilers rant. I won't put it on the screen because there's too much profanity, but Ken's going off on the Oilers, and I love it. He's saying F sweatpants, F beards without mustaches, F Hockey Night in Canada, F the Soilers. It's beautiful. I love it. And he's got baby Jerome McGinley as his profile picture. I love it, Ken. Beautiful.
Speaking my language, Ken, did you hear Ron in the first intermission? He said you gotta love Dick.
No, dude, I heard that, but I was too distracted because I'm watching. I'm like, hey, when are they going to talk about the Flames? And it was like Leafs. Oh, and I go down and he's talking about like, I went down to like Old Town, Youngstown and got to the barbershop, and that's where I get my hair cut. No Flames highlights, no Flames analysis.
Thanks, Ron. I really want to know where you get your haircut.
So that was great. So,
perfect. Yeah. That's top-notch analysis. See, that's what you learn in journalism school. If you want to cover sports, just do what Ron does.
Haircut.
Second period, much better period for Montreal. Wolf had to be sharp, as we touched on. They had a couple dominant shifts early.
Oh yeah.
That's when Zary got his first look with Huberdeau and Kadri. Zary had a good defensive play on that shift. Yeah, that's kind of the story of the second period. It was surviving. We had
nothing happened. They survived the last minute, but
we have a frenzy.
They get the goal, but
the Wolf scramble. Yeah, if you want to throw that up, this is kind of later in the second period. This is kind of like the nutshell.
Define locked in. And again, that's after it's 1-0. I know we didn't show the goal yet, but like, how huge is that? Because you were getting that feeling. You were like, the Flames are fucking around right now. They're playing with fire, doing this like, hey, we're only up by 1, and they're letting all these. They're getting hemmed in. They're not clearing the puck. They're getting, the ice was tilted for a while there. And by the grace of God, by the grace of Dustin Wolf, we pulled that one out of our asses again.
Absolutely. Okay, we jumped the gun a bit. Let's see the Farabee goal. And note the sexy celebration. Does the old bow and arrow shoot.
He had that sick goal, and he was really good tonight. So 4 consecutive really good games. And, that's kind of what I was expecting when they acquired these guys. I was kind of like, I'm actually more interested in like Farabee's upside, given his history and his skill set. He's had 4 really good games. He's been really good.
Yeah. He's taken a bit to settle in, but I've been kind of texting you the last week. I think this guy's going to be he's going to be good.
Yeah. You look at his underlying. Yeah. You look at his underlying numbers. If you look at any like of the all 3 zone data, like passing data and scoring chance creation, like he's a really good player, man. He's a really good offensive player. And he could be a guy, like, again, he scored 20 goals in this league. So he could be a guy that definitely pops off with an increased role and with a coach who doesn't hate him. So
I think we got a clip of this, Yasmin, of the Zary clip.
Is this the second dangle, or is this between the legs? Yeah, this is between the legs. Yeah.
Let's take a look. This is good for a demotion, but almost had the goal of the year.
I texted you. I was like, he's going to get demoted for that.
Yeah, you did. You called it.
Millen did not like that. Millen's like, oh, you got to shoot the puck, eh?
Well, I think you do.
No, you don't. You got to do that.
You got to do that? It just has to do it, eh?
You have to do that. Come on, in today's NHL. He almost got it. He'll get it next time. Listen, Tkachuk, if you remember, it's funny because this used to drive me up the wall when Tkachuk would do it.
Yep.
Until he did it, right? It took him a while. Because if you go back and you watch the early years of Matthew Tkachuk, it was like he's trying this motherfucking between the legs thing all the time. Drove me crazy. And then all of a sudden he like honed it in and like he could score that way. And it was like, oh, that's the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. That's okay. Keep doing it, Chucky. So he's going to get one of those and it's going to be sick, and it's going to continue to be sick.
What are your thoughts on Zary overall as a finisher? I know that
it's a bit of a problem.
There's been points where you're just like, man, this guy can dangle. He can deep through guys. He just seems to have a bit of a problem finishing. Do you think that's something that he'll solve as he continues on his career? He's going to be putting more pucks in the back of the net. Maybe it helps when he's playing with a little bit higher skilled finishers than back on Coleman.
Back on Coleman, Rumi, Lomberg, when he's playing with,
Dude, I'm serious. I would love to see him with Frost and Coronato.
Well, yeah, 2 of your best. Like even with Coronato, like if you want to keep Frost, if you want to put him back at center, But if you want to keep him on the wing, like he's just got to be in a more high skill situation because he's just so high skill.
Like I saw Gould tweet this the other day. Maybe it's time to try Sharon Govich back with Huberdeau. Like, what if you put Sharon Govich in the top line with Huberdeau, Kadri? Your second line is Frost, Coronato, Zary. You can put whoever the hell you want with Backlund. Possible could go there. I don't see why Rooney needs to be in the lineup. Maybe bring up Cairns, but there's still more looks to this roster and these lines than what we've seen. I mean, Husko's always galaxy braining, but we haven't seen what I just mentioned, which I would love to see.
It's always like 2 steps forward or 1 step forward, 2 step back with the lineup decision. It's like, well, that's good, but fuck, I don't get that. I know Rob tweeted it. Robert Munich, the shift, the amazing shift Rooney had. Sorry, not to pile on the Rune Dog, but that was, if you didn't see that, we don't have it obviously, but
we do have it.
Do we have it?
Yeah. You want to throw it on now?
Yeah, let's see it. I just while we're talking about it. Right. I'd say it's the Rune Dog, but it was just pretty funny because
this is a classic. Classic.
Flames have the puck and
comes
a lot. So
I couldn't tell if it was the Montreal fans cheering or the Calgary fans.
But I agree.
Bit of both.
Probably. I want to see Zary with Coronato, and you have to figure out something with poor old sad sap Yegor. I don't know what you do with this guy, but I thought he was okay. He's been working okay with Frost, so I wouldn't mind keeping him there, but we'll see.
Huberdeau takes the late penalty the second. The Habs will start the third period on the power play. Did you see in the second intermission, it was Elliott was talking about some of the trade deadline deals and non-deals, and it was Carolina was going after Marner.
And yeah, so I said Brad was right there, bro.
Brad asked him to waive, but he said no. What's your take on this? Because is that a bit of a FU to Marner from management? And if so, does that kind of sour the relationship? Like, what's your take?
All I know is hey, if there's a huge high profile pending superstar unrestricted free agent pending, I definitely trust if the one man I trust to do the right thing and make the situation right and take the right path is Brad Living. I know he's gonna nail that situation out of the park, probably for sure, based on his track record.
I know it's not Flames content, but it's Brad Living, so it's Flames content.
I don't know. I feel like Marner's always been, a tough negotiator. I remember when he signed his deal back because Tkachuk was signing his deal at the same time, and we were kind of like looking at that as comparable. And he's a tough negotiator. Some of those guys in the Leafs are. So,
it's his fucking dad, isn't it?
Probably. Have you ever seen that old CBC video?
Yeah.
It's like poor Mitch.
What are you gonna tell your mom, Mitch? It's like what? Like Pee Wee? Like he's like 10 years old. Right in the backseat of the car. What are you gonna tell your mom, Mitch?
We lost. Oh, so it's just another game, eh?
That's all it is, eh, Mitch? Just done.
We've all had that. Well, maybe not all of us, but most people that have played minor hockey have had that experience to be like, yeah, I don't want to play hockey anymore. I quit. Yeah, I just want to play. Poor Mitch is in the backseat, just like, I just want to play Xbox. Like, holy shit, Dad. Yeah. But hey, he's a gajillionaire. So I don't know. We'll see. It feels like Marner's going to be that's going to be a hard ball negotiation. And hey, the last person I'd want in a hard ball negotiation for my team is Brad Living, because this guy's the worst hardball negotiator probably in the league, maybe. So,
okay, we'll shift gears to the third period highlights. Origin Brewing and Malting Company. The Hiltons are a fifth-generation family and have been growing the highest quality barley in the world for over 40 years and use the highest quality of that barley to brew Origin beer. Blending tradition and innovation for a truly unique experience that proudly celebrates Alberta farmers. We grow beer. Homegrown lager, Mexican lager, Pioneer IPA, Lazy Days Hazy IPA, Rockford Raspberry, the list goes on. Did you see the Barn Burner boys were sitting down to a few IPAs for the trade deadline coverage?
If we did that, think the show's off the rails? You think our show's off the rails now? Every time I open social media, it's just like I see myself going crazy. I'm like, I don't even remember doing that. If we were cracking... If we were cracking those, it would be
get trouble, us blackout drunk if you want to see some sort of entertainment.
Yeah, I'd probably be less crazy, to be honest.
Origin offers $5 local delivery on any order over $50 or more within a 50K of downtown Calgary range. Place your order on Origin's online store at originbrewing.ca. Click the shop button and browse through the selection of quality craft, beverage, and merchandise. And now the OC, Origin Calgary, the Origin brand continues to grow. In addition to their malting, brewing faculties and taproom in Strathmore, it's now opened. Their brewery and taproom in Calgary, it's easier than ever to sit down for a pint of Origin or take home cans, growers, even kegs for yourself.
What?
Whew, maybe that's what we need. Located at 943 28th Street Northeast, and of course, still going strong at 60 Spruce Park Drive in Strathmore. Origin Brewing Malt and Co. All right, let's get to the third period. Huge penalty kill to start the third period. They pull through, and then it's shortly after that, Coronato's back up with Kadri and Huberdeau. He has a great chance to score. I do believe we have that highlight. Yeah,
Matthew Coronato. I don't know if we. Oh yeah,
this is the point I bring up. Is right here. Yeah, shoot it now. He's got a way better shot than the guy.
That's a classic. Yeah. Well, and I see. This is what I mean. This is okay. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but like when he's going from fourth line to top line,
this is what I'm saying.
Just that split second of you're gripping. You're just a little too afraid to make a mistake and not play your game and do what your instincts tell you to do. You're
yo-yoing back and forth in the fourth line in game.
Right, it's right there. It's just that hockey's 99% mental, so that's why it just kind of frustrates me a little bit.
I feel like we saw that with Sam Bennett. The guy was terrified to make any mistake.
Oh yeah,
because he was in the doghouse for about a week after. Anyways, let's hope that it doesn't become a thing. Let's hope we're just overreacting.
We never do that.
Never happens on this.
Never will.
Montreal was pressing a little bit later in the period. Wolf had we got this one Wolf highlight. This is one of a few handful of key saves he makes. Slams the door right in Montreal's face.
They just knocked their little French hello, and he's just get out of here, bitch. That's Mr. Wolf to you.
There were points tonight where I was wondering if Huberdeau was secretly playing for the Habs. He had a bad game, I thought.
Yeah, he was really bad. He was kind of classic Huberdeau. I was like, what are you doing out there, bro? Why are you passing to the other team all night?
We got a Farabee chance here that we're going to watch shortly.
Oh, yeah, man. He almost had this too, eh?
Yeah, this guy, I think
these guys 5-on-5, don't quote me on this, but I was looking at stats earlier. I think it's the worst 5-on-5 shooting percentage in the league, which checks out because of the lowest scoring overall goals 5-on-5 team in the league, but also the worst shooting percentage team in the entire league. And we know it's not just because of luck or whatever. We know it's a finishing problem. Did you see? Sorry, not to pick on Greg Millen, because I actually like Greg Millen, but there was a chance that the Montreal guy had where he missed the net by like 3 feet, and he's like, "Oh boy, if that hit the net, that would have went in. If that was about 3 feet higher and a foot to the left, that would have gone right in." I was just like, "Yeah."
God, they were roasting him so hard in the last broadcast. Do you see that?
Who?
I don't know if you saw that. The broadcast.
They were?
Yeah, they were. I can't remember the joke. It was Ryan Leslie, and it was something about paying for dinners.
Oh, right. Well, they don't have Rudy around he's not around as much because he's usually the guy everybody picks on, eh?
And then they showed, I think it was his stats against Philly, and he was like 0-9-1 or something like that.
Oh, right.
Just horrendous stats. Gotta love it. Good old Millen, eh? Good old Millen.
Good old Millsy.
Caulfield has that breakaway. He shoots it high. But just a nail biter down to the finish. I think we got one more Dustin Wolf big save.
Yeah. I think it's the last flurry. I think he made a couple saves, but yeah, just one more unbelievable save when it's 1-0.
I said we were going to make the playoffs, so I'm going to back it up with a shutout.
Just one more. Dude, he's so good down low, hey?
Yeah.
Fuck. That's so fun to watch, man.
And he makes it look easy. It's almost like it's effortless, man. He's just floating around side to side like lightning.
What I'm saying, we've talked about this. Is I've never really enjoyed watching a goalie as much as it's like watching a boxer. He's just bothered. It's just this kid is unreal.
So it's another week, another Dustin Wolf record, sets franchise record for third shutout by a rookie.
He's closing it. How many wins does he have now? He's closing in on that win record for a rookie set by Mike Vernon in the 80s, man. He's getting close. I think he might be 7 off, but he's getting there, man. He's probably going to do it. Or he's got 22 wins, so he's 8 off, I think. But he's going to do it. That's crazy.
You mentioned this late in the third. Robert posted that Zary he replaced Sharon Govich with Frost and Pospisil. You got to get Zary off that fourth line.
Yeah,
permanently.
He's a guy, right? Like you can't score. That's what's frustrating when he's on the fourth. He's the guy. He's one of the offensive drivers on this team, of which there are very little, right? Like none, pretty much. You have negative. You have offensives like suckers. They suck the offense out. So you got to get him elevated in the lineup, and you got to get him feeling good and playing his game. Because when he's on his game, he's the most dynamic player on this team.
With the win, the Flames secure that final wild card spot temporarily. Vancouver still got a game in hand, and they're 1 point back.
And I think
it's going to be
St. Louis. St. Louis is LA is tied in the third right now. So
has the Oilers game started yet? Are they losing yet?
Dude, they've been on it. They are winning. They're beating Dallas 2-1. But hey, the night is young. The night is young, my friend. Rantanen has his first assist.
Oh, Rantanen's playing already. Wow. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, the road ahead, brought to you by Platinum Mitsubishi. The road ahead, Platinum Mitsubishi is Calgary's number one destination for her upgraded 2025 Outlander, the refreshed flagship 7-seat vehicle from Mitsubishi Motors. This one's always a tongue twister for me.
That's a tough one to say, man.
The 2025 Outlander features the first ever vehicle audio system provided by industry leaders at Yamaha, and new for 2025. Also, the only vehicle offered by a mainstream manufacturer to include a brand new audio system for the base model all the way up to the top of the line. Other features available in brown leather seats, ventilated cool front seats, standard 12.3-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple Play and Android Auto. Come down to Calgary Auto Show at the BMO Center from March 13th to 16th. Take a look at the new 2025 Outlander and receive a $1,000 coupon to use at Platinum Mitsubishi on any new 2025 model. Outlander, Eclipse Cross, RVR, all made in Japan and imported directly into Canada without passing through the States. Get into the best backed cars in the country with a standard 10-year powertrain warranty at Platinum Mitsubishi 2720 Barlow Trail, northeast here in Calgary. Jeez.
Mitsubishi's tough to say, man.
Platinum Mitsubishi. Try and say that like 10 times quick. It's like almost
really hard.
Okay, let's get to the road ahead. We only got 2 games this week, is it?
A nice little break here. You get Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off.
You got a 3-game homestand.
Yeah, nice little break. I wonder what everybody's going to be up to in this beautiful spring weather we're having, where it's like brown and slushy and muddy out. Got Vancouver on Wednesday. That's the biggest game of the entire. Obviously,
wow.
That's a huge. This is gonna be the game. This is the game. That's a
huge game. 4-point game.
This is the game that in the last 2 seasons, well, maybe not so much last year, but the year before, this is the game they couldn't win all the time, right? It was like, hey, now's your chance.
Yep.
You screwed it up. So this, I think, will be the first. This is the first threshold test, because this is something that's come up. Is like, does this team, if this team's going to make the playoffs, which maybe they will, like, do they have any other level? Can they get from? We haven't really seen it.
Yep.
We've seen them kind of maxed out. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of grinding out, and a lot of relying on your rookie goaltender. But is there somebody step up? We'll see. And then they play Colorado on Friday. That's going to be a tough one.
And they're back on the road after that.
Then they have a 4-game road trip out east. They get to go visit Brad and company.
Oh, man.
In Toronto. Yes. They're through New York. Rangers, Devils, Islanders.
That's another tough road trip.
Hey, it'd be nice to kick the Devils' ass and push them farther down the standings so we can get that. So we can mitigate probably losing our top 10 pick and maybe snag a nicer pick. Hey, the Devils' fall off is good for the Flames. I hope it keeps happening.
Yep. They lose Jack Hughes for the season. I sent you this. I don't know if anybody in the chat's seen this, but the NHL produces this cool like in-season tracker of Stanley Cup odds to win the Stanley Cup, and you can kind of see right in the past 2 weeks, essentially the Devils just totally plummeting.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, how to break that down? If the Devils do plummet, is it a top 10 protected pick.
So it is top 10 protected. So I guess technically they could like still finish outside the top 10 and win a lottery and get into the top 10, and we wouldn't receive it. Ryan Pike put up, finally somebody put this together, a great flow chart. You can go to flamesnation.ca. I think it was posted today or yesterday. A great flow chart of the possible scenarios, because there's a lot of shit going on with that Montreal pick,
there is.
with the Devils pick.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of crazy shit going on. But essentially with the New Jersey pick, if New Jersey picks in the top 10, they'll retain their pick and the Flames will get it next year. If they pick outside the top 10, we receive their pick this year. So that's kind of what it looks like.
That's the Markstrom deal.
That's the Markstrom trade. Yeah. That's the Kevin Ball, Jacob Markstrom trade. So that'd be pretty sweet if they kind of tumbled a little bit.
Man, it's going to be interesting. This is going to be a real fascinating final 19 games of the season to see how it all shapes up, because
there's a lot of pain on the line. There's a lot man, it's going to be tough, I think. There's a lot on the line with all these draft picks and all this shit. It's going to be tough for me, I think.
We will we're going to do an anytime goal scorer for tomorrow, and then we'll get into some trade deadline coverage and just your overall breakdown of what Connie's decisions were to stand pat and what it means, implications and whatnot. Before we do, breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every faceoff, hat-trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute is in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app today and use the code NATION to get in on the game. Must be 19 or older. Play responsibly. I got our boy Alexander Ovechkin tomorrow. Anytime goal scorer. This guy, dude, I don't see this being talked about enough.
It's crazy. I think we just kind of accepted how crazy it is.
He's 39 years old. 39. We were talking about this on our last episode. Wayne Gretzky at 39 years old, he played, 70 plus games, had 9 goals that season?
It was like 7 or 9 or something.
Ovi in 46 games this season has 31 goals at 48 points. So he's over a point per game as a 39-year-old in a season where he's fucking broke his leg mid-season. This is unheard of.
Yeah. What are they feeding this guy? What is he eating?
He's scoring at a 55-goal pace.
It's crazy.
Dude, imagine breaking your leg and just like having to go back to work, let alone fucking playing the NHL and scoring at a 55-goal pace.
And you're going to obliterate probably a record nobody ever thought would possibly be broken. He's going to break it. It's crazy. This guy's crazy.
This guy's nuts. So Ovechkin, he's your anytime goal scorer.
He's your anytime goal scorer. Like that's the true definition of anytime.
Yeah. Safe bet.
Yeah.
Okay. I pulled we'll get into this. And if you're in the chat, start throwing comments and questions in here. Let's hear how you feel about either the game as a whole tonight, individual plays tonight, or we can get into some trade deadline talk. I pulled the fan base. How satisfied are you with Connie's trade deadline? Obviously, there's all spectrums of where fans sit. Fans on the hardcore rebuild spectrum, very disappointed that Craig did not sell anything. There's probably interest in Anderson, probably interested in Kadri, but the general manager, Craig, he just didn't want to tinker with anything because he's committed to the wild card race, committed to make the playoffs this season. Then on the other spectrum, you have team playoffs. Let's go. Let's get in. Let's figure it out. You can't expect these guys to try and lose. That's the general manager's job if he's managing the team properly, but we'll get into that. So here's the breakdown. 8.7% of fans said very satisfied. 33.9 said satisfied. 33.3 said unsatisfied. 24.1 very unsatisfied. So the majority of fans, like 66%, 2/3 of the fan base is kind of right in the middle between satisfied and unsatisfied. What was your overall breakdown of trade deadline? Where would you place yourself on this quiz here, or this survey?
I mean, can I ever be satisfied?
Once Dustin Wolf was lifting the Stanley Cup over your head, I guess that's when you can be.
That's really it, man.
And Zane correct.
That's like, yeah, dude. Yeah, I know Saginaw got absolutely creamed tonight, but if you haven't seen Zane Parek's assist tonight in the game, is unbelievable.
He's like sliding on his knees for like 3 full seconds, keeps the puck in possession, dishes it from his knees to set up a goal.
It's crazy. Guy's nuts. But that's right. That's the Kobe mentality, right? Job's not done. I'm never satisfied. And I think that's what people misunderstand about some of my takes. It's not because I'm negative. It's not because I'm a dick. Well, I mean, partially, for sure.
Those are both true, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. But it's all filtered through the job's not done, right?
It all comes from the right place.
Like, you don't understand what I dream about. And I've been thinking about Jerome McGinley lifting the Stanley Cup, never happened. Mark Giordano lifting the Stanley Cup, never happened. Matthew Tkachuk should have been the captain lifting the Stanley Cup, never happened. Michael Back, that's all I think about. So, you know what? I kind of fall. Obviously, I'm more in favor of the hardcore, aggressive, get after it rebuild model that I kind of just wish they would go for. They're not doing that. I still think there was maybe some missed opportunities. I know it's easier said than done. You know, some of these guys have no movement clauses. It's hard. I get it. I get where the team is at, but I wasn't expecting them to do anything either. But as soon as those trades started coming in, and you're seeing you're like, holy fucking shit. Brock Nelson's going for a freaking king's ransom here. What? And you just start wondering, and you're like, what could you get for Kadri? What could you get for Coleman? What could you get for any of these? It's just like, So obviously I'm a little, I understand. This is pretty much how I sum up the Flames management. I understand it, but I'm disappointed. I'm not, what is it? I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Like a parent says to their kid, I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed. So I think there were some opportunities there that, you know what? I don't really like the passivity route. I think maybe that comes back to bite you in a few years. We'll see. I think there were maybe some opportunities to cash in on some guys.
And passivity, you mean you're more so looking at this year. You're making decisions based on this year when really you probably should be erring on the side of decisions for the next 3 to 5 seasons. Right.
Like, it's just in 2-3 years down the line when we want to be competitive, and you're going to look back and be like, man, we really should have cashed in on some of those guys. And I mean, I will reserve my judgment as so harsh until the summer to see maybe what happens if some business takes place. But you know what? Like, you can foresee a scenario next trade deadline, right? Like, let's say they can't sign Anderson and they have to trade him next deadline. And it's like buyer's market like it was last year, where guys like Chris Tanev are going for peanuts, and you're giving Noah Hannafin away because you kind of just ran out of time and you're not really getting the return that you should have got if you had been proactive about it. So, you can foresee that scenario playing out, and that's where it gets annoying. And you're like, I think you're within your right to be like, hey, you should have traded him last year when it was a seller's market. So I'm just saying, I'll wait until the summer to have my final judgment. But yeah, when you saw how much of a seller's market was,
it's crazy compared to last year.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like last year, of course, when we're having our fire sale, you can't give Chris Tanev away. You can't give Noah Hannafin away. The teams are just like, we got this shit and this shit. You want it? Now it's like everyone's paying up for like Anthony Bolivier. It's just like, oh my word, what is going on here? So, as a guy who just wants to see them manage their assets a lot better than they have in the past, I wish they would have jumped on some of these opportunities if they were there. Maybe they weren't there. I know Conroy mentioned they were looking to retain some salary in some places and be a broker. The opportunities just weren't there. But if you really, really wanted to do that, and if you were really aggressively pursuing that all year, I feel like some of those opportunities might have opened up. At least they didn't blow their load on anything and buy anything. I think that's maybe kind of what cancels out my frustration with not cashing in on some of these guys, is that at least they didn't like pull a Brad Living and shoot out a second round pick for some shitty player because like, hey, we're in the playoffs. But then on the flip side of that, with Tree Living's first year, he did make a few nice moves. They were in a playoff push that year in 2014, 2015, and he did sell off, right? Like, he traded Kurz Glencross to Washington, snagged some picks, and then turned those picks into eventually getting Dougie Hamilton, in part. So, you look back on stuff like that, you see what other players are going for, you just kind of wish maybe they had been a bit more aggressive. But
if you listen to Craig's post trade deadline interview with Pat Steinberg, I got the sense that they knew going into trade deadline they weren't going to be selling, There were reports of that going into trade deadline that the Flames were not going to be selling Kadri and Anderson. And you never know. Sometimes that can be part negotiation where you're just letting read between the lines the rest of the league. Yeah. If you want one of these guys, you better fucking pony up.
I was just going to say, sorry to interrupt you, but I was just going to say, which that kind of worked in the Flames' favor last year with the Markstrom trade, which is why I say, okay, I'll maybe kind of wait till summer because the reports were that New Jersey kept lowballing the Flames for Markstrom. And Craig was like, I'm willing to trade him, but I'm not going to give him away, since I don't have to, since he's still under contract. So, and then ultimately he makes the trade in the summer and ended up working out very well for the Flames. They get a first round pick in Kevin Ball, who's been great. So,
yeah, he's been awesome.
So I'll wait. Like you said.
Craig also mentioned that he, part of him wanted to reward the group, and you don't necessarily do that by trading Kadri now, trading Anderson now. He's taking this playoff push very seriously. I don't mind that. Like if I'm looking at doing nothing during the trade deadline, I don't hate it. Part of you really wishes that there was some brokering going on, but like Craig said straight up, he's very disappointed. There was no teams that wanted to work on a retention deal. There was teams looking that wanted to retain. They wanted Flames to retain for 2 seasons, and he's like, nah, that's not really what we want to do. So, but yeah, I don't know. This is the thing, right? Sometimes the market is the market, and when you're selling off tire fire, you got to take what you can get. We saw that last season. It's kind of unfortunate in a sense, but just the nature of the beast.
Well, 2 things I want to say on that. Number one, Seinfeld quote: "Everyone else is doing something. We'll do nothing. We'll do nothing." But dude, okay, here's where Craig set off a lot of PTSD for a lot of us who have been dude, he said it. He said the line. He said, "We believe in the group," and I died inside.
Dude, to a T, word for word. Not even like paraphrasing. Literally said, "We believe in this group."
He pulled the Brad Tree Living line. And that's where I was just like, I think we're cooked, man. I think we're done as a friend. As soon as I heard
that's a red flag.
As soon as we hear we believe in the group, it's over. It's done. But then I did want to just say, like, when the market is the market, because and then I'll shut the fuck up after that. But
no, you can go on and on and all night long.
When the market is the market, see, that's where I get kind of frustrated. Is it's just basic investing, right? You make your biggest gains on selling overvalued assets when the market is in your favor. And then see kind of what you hear then, like at the draft, right? Because I think last year the Flames tried to move up in the draft, but it was too expensive, right? It was just kind of like, yeah, we saw an opportunity to get a player that we wanted to move up, but it was too expensive. We didn't have the assets. When you go to do something like that, because if you're not bottoming out, right, you're not getting elite players, picking
which you can't with Dustin Wolf between the pipes.
You're not getting those players that you would generally get in picks 1 through 5, maybe sometimes 1 through 10. You're going to have to find other ways to kind of figure out to get either picks that high or make trades for players like that. And really the only way you can do that is if you accrue a bunch of assets. So when a player like that, they became available, whether it's like, hey, a Jack Eichel's on the market randomly, we have the assets to go out and get that player. When you want to move up in the draft, you're maybe going to be like, man, if we had traded Coleman when the prices were really high and we could have got another first in our pocket, we could have bundled it to move up in the draft. When the market's the market and it's like, well, the market was the market. It's always kind of used it's a 2-way street because it's kind of used as an excuse when you make a poor trade. But then, when you try to go to get something you really want and you're lacking the assets because you didn't take advantage of the market. And then everyone's like, well, yeah, it's hard to move up in the draft. Well, it wouldn't be if you had a bunch of first round picks and some things in your pocket. Like that's what Carolina has done pretty well. Is they're Tampa too. It's always like, where the fuck are they getting all these picks from that they're always trading? So it's just, if you're not going to be tanking, you're not going to be finishing the top 5. I think the sole focus should be accruing as many assets as possible to try and get elite players either via trade or moving up in the draft. So that's just my last thought on that.
Well, and the other point too is like you take a look at Colorado. They trade a guy like Rantanen, and it's more of kind of like a player trade. Did they get picks as well in that Rantanen trade for Colorado?
Remember that? I don't know if Colorado did. You're talking about Carolina or Colorado?
When Colorado traded Rantanen to Carolina,
they got Nietzsche back and something else. I don't freaking remember.
So it's more of like a player trade.
It's a player for player, yeah.
But again, you're looking at Rantanen. He's on an expiring deal. and they're getting ahead of it. And it's a ballsy move. Like, you're moving a monster like Rantanen, and then Carolina goes out and does the exact same thing. Yeah. So, but Colorado and Carolina can trade Rantanen when they're both shoo-ins to make the playoffs, but we can't move any of our big guys.
Well, yeah,
we're just kind of hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, and you hear the we don't want to disturb the room thing. You can't trade Anderson. It's like Colorado is out there trading. Did they upset Nathan McKinnon by trading they're one of their best players, 2-time Stanley Cup, one of the best playoff performers, and they're whatever. And we're just kind of we can't hurt anybody's little feelings in the dressing room. We don't want to trade Rasmus Anderson. Obviously, I'm being a little ridiculous, but that's kind of the vibe you get, right? When you see these big boy teams, these teams who are in it, these championship caliber teams, these teams who are year after year making playoff runs, Stanley Cup runs, deep runs, and they're making these ballsy moves every year, and we're just kind of always taking some half measures. And I think that's ultimately where the frustration comes from people who are totally on team rebuild. That's where the frustration comes from. It's just we just want a full measure, right? Because we've kind of just been teetering the lines we don't want to commit to a rebuild because we're not that bad, but they're never quite good enough to actually be, a contender. So that's why it's just if you just take a full measure, we'd all maybe shut up. So I think that's just where the frustration comes from.
There is always the possibility that Connie might add. I think both of us were pretty satisfied on that front that he wasn't out there making deals and giving away any future pieces. And I mean, he kind of did his adding earlier on in the season, got ahead of it with the Frost Farabee deal.
Oh, hey, how good does that deal look?
Dude, right? That is starting to look so good right now.
With the prices that were if he makes that trade a week later or on trade deadline day, it's costing a lot more than Kuzi, Pelche in a second. So that was a good piece of work.
Yeah. And the other key piece that Connie said too is that the only way he was going to add any pieces was if it made sense for that 3 to 5 year window, the future as well. So I don't know. I can see how it's kind of right in the middle between satisfied and dissatisfied. And then I also understand the argument for people that are very unsatisfied, with some of the points that you're laying down in terms of committing to to being a contender in a few years. Okay, let's get to the chat. Was there any super chats tonight?
I think we got one from our good boy Mace. This is my Instagram buddy. He's a good guy.
My boys.
We're the goats, baby. Are we the goats? Not really. We're just two, like you said, take off, eh?
We're two hose heads, eh? Take off.
Yeah, two hose heads here. So,
all right. If you're in the chat, you want to bring up a discussion point, ask us a question.
I want a little long here. Eh?
We'll do a little OT here. Let's see if we got
we won't go 3 hours talking about soup, but
milk and soup.
Go a little bit.
Now that trade deadline has passed, Ken, which team in your opinion has improved to be a serious threat in the playoffs? Dallas, Colorado,
Florida,
and that's the other
Florida. Pick. Those are your big boys.
And that's the other thing too, that you're of two minds. You're a Flames fan and you're an Oilers hater.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you're looking at what the Oilers did at the deadline and their acquisitions. I mean, they got a defenseman that's right in his scouter report is he's kind of turnover prone. They're just fucking rights. Love that. They did not address the goaltending. I don't think they shored up the defense by any means.
Beautiful.
You're looking at them kind of stumbling right now. I guess they're turning it around now, but then you're looking at who they got to match up against. Winnipeg's a fucking juggernaut right now. Dallas got a whole lot better.
I look at Dallas and it's just Dallas is the monster to me, man. I think Colorado, I don't know, just maybe some of those guys, it might be a chemistry thing. I'm not sure, but dude, that Dallas roster, when you look at that, is that looks to me like one of the most insane rosters I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just insane. The way Johnston's going right now, you add Rantanen into that, obviously Rupe Hintz, Robertson, Mason Marsh, Matt Duchene, Mikhail Granlund. Wyatt Johnston right now is playing 3C for that team.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane. And their defense, Thomas Harley's a stud. Man, that looks like a formidable foe, dude. It might be Dallas's year.
It's unfortunate that it's likely only one of Winnipeg Dallas or Colorado comes out of.
And of course, the stupid Oilers look like they're headed to play LA again for the 20th year in a row, and always get kind of like the easier team, because all they did was what they added Kuzi. Maybe Kuzi will light him up.
Kuzi's gonna fuck him up. Kuzi and Rittich, let's go.
Yeah. Dave's gonna screw him up. But I obviously love what Florida did. Marchand for a fucking second rounder. What is that?
Wow.
But
conditional.
So Dallas and Florida was my cup pick again. I'd never bet against Matthew Tkachuk. Even when I should. But I think Dallas or Florida look insane.
Stu, love the podcast, boys. Thanks for being spot on and honest. Thanks for the $10 donation.
Stu, what a good guy.
Let me tell you, the kids really appreciate it, Stu.
This is warming my little in the dome heart.
In the dome, boys, for the heart, says Darren.
Oh, nice.
Darren.
Yeah, right on.
Wolf for Calder. This has been the thing, right? All season long. The Calder race for the first, month and a half, Wolf wasn't even really in the conversation at all. He wasn't even in the odds.
We were like pushing him into the conversation.
Flames fans were doing a good job of that. And like he just week to week, he just continues to basically make a case that, like you said, if you're looking at, what the one guy has done for their team. Yeah, 100% Wolf. I don't know, man.
Well, again, who are the other guys, right? Like Hudson's doing something pretty crazy for a defenseman. Obviously, Celebrini is an absolute stud. Michkov's been good, but like the Flames, I don't know how many times I have to say this. The Flames are the lowest scoring team in the entire league, and go look at any prognostication before the season. They were right there with San Jose and Chicago, and they're in a motherfucking playoff spot with 19, 20 games to go. And they have the second best save percentage at 5-on-5 in the entire league.
And Vladar's stats are they still
Vladar's stats are terrible. So like, what else do you need to say about who the best rookie has been? And you know what? Maybe
whatever, man. He's just gonna use it as more fuel.
Yeah, totally. He's gonna be like, "Fuck you!"
When he gets the Calder snub, it's just gonna be more fuel for his 6 foot little frame, relative to the rest of the goaltenders league. Darren Thomas, thank you for the super chats donation
for the Calder, baby,
and the love. What else we got in here? How are Riddick and Talbot both still playing?
Hey, dude. Hey, listen, I fucking love those guys. And I said, like, not to be like, I'm right all the time, but like Cam Talbot's been really good. I don't know about Riddick. He's kind of been up and down, but Cam Talbot's been really good. And if you remember that year where the Flames lost to Dallas in the bubble in the playoffs, and Cam Talbot was the only reason we didn't get swept. He was insanely good and then got yanked in game 6, and Riddick got put in after not playing for like 3 months. Jeff Ward special right there. But I thought they should have just re-signed Talbot on the cheap instead of going crazy on Jacob Markstrom. And ultimately, I think it would have been right. Spend that money on goal scoring. They might have won more than one playoff round. So I always got some love for Cam Talbot. And, Dave Riddick, never change, baby. Why I should change?
It was funny. I was playing 3-on-3 on Wednesday night. And I got a buddy. He's a big in the dome and Flames fan. We're on the same team. And I'm out there just doing my thing. Some guy wanted to fight me for a bit. And, I play on the edge. I'm in the fabric of the game. It's 3-on-3. Like, you got to give her. And we're on the bench. And he's like, man, you really know how to get other people to hate you. Eh?
That's you.
And I'm just like, why I should change. All right, man. I think that's it. Thanks.
I think we got one more comment maybe from Noah. I think he wanted to get your thoughts on Frost. I'll pop it up here. Oh, I think Yasmin had it. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
No, Cooper. Coops. I was just talking about you.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Frost game style? To me, it reminds me of Johnny, which we haven't seen in a while. Keep your head up, Jordan. For reference, this is the buddy I was just talking about. He's watching. Noah Cooper. Why I should change. Dude, I've been saying to you, I've loved the Frost edition. I think he's going to be a stellar player for this team. We talked about it early on in the show. He's got the niftiness. He's got the craftiness, the creativeness. He's got the skilled footwork. He's bringing so much to that power play. I'm really liking what I see. I'm actually pretty surprised by how much I like this guy. I was way exceeding my expectations just through this little stretch we've seen him. Would love to see him play with Coronato and Zary, because he just reads the ice well. And he was feeding Sherry-Govich all night long.
No, it just makes high skill plays too, right?
Yeah, if you add a guy with the dynamic, same style of play like Zary does, and then a guy like Coronato who could finish, that could be a fucking deadly line.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe they gotta pick it up defensively or figure that piece out before they roll that out. But man, I'd still love to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for joining, everybody. Great comments, great chat. Anything to wrap this up? We'll let you take it away, bud.
Wolf for Calder, baby.
Wolf for Calder. Good night, everybody.